Adele and April from Just Say Scrub with Close to My Heart, and we are here at Technique Tuesday number 119. We are enjoying, celebrating in the city, and Santa gave me my wish. It is snowing. Do you see my jacket? So we are in Bryant Park right now, woo, celebrating with our hot chocolate and Max Brenner hot chocolate and stuff. But we are excited to show you this week's technique. Hi friends, so today we are going to be showing you how to make a tea card. So it's a super simple project to do. Basically all you need is 3 different papers. So as you can see here, I have 3 different papers. Usually what we do is one of them is a patterned paper and then one of them is just a border for the design. So what you can see here is I do not have a patterned paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a background with our Paper Pals Pets. So I'm going to create a background. We're actually helping my aunt out, so I'm making a card for her to use for Christmas. But this is also a great thing because you can put gift cards in these. You can do a bunch of different little things. They are tea cards, so you can put a pack of tea in it, put it like a ginger cookie to go with your tea, anything like that. But just so you kind of see how it's made, I'm going to show you by referring to one of them as a pattern paper, to one of them as a border for the designed paper, and one of them for a booklet cover. So to start out, I am actually going to be using the green as the booklet cover. So I've got my piece of paper here, my 12 by 12 clover. It is the two-toned clover. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut a 6 by 8.5 inch strip. So I'm cutting it at the 6 inches, pulling my little arm out here, and then we are doing the 8.5 inch strip. So I've got my 6 by 8.5 there. Then I'm going to pull in my other strip. So this is the 6 by 12 that I had. I'm actually then going to cut off a 1/4 inch. So I'm making this a 3 by 5.25. And then I'm going to cut this into 4-inch strips. So today I'm going to be making a 2-pocket tea card, but with this extra piece of paper, the extra 4 by 5.75, you can actually make a 3rd pocket on your tea card if you would like to do that. So I've got those pieces. Then this little strip is a scrap. Then with that extra piece that you had that you took off from the 6 by 8.5, we're going to cut 3 3/4 by 1.5 inch strip. So I'm going to first cut this by 3 3/4, leaving this as scrap. And then this is going to be a 1.5 inch strip, and this is also scrap now. So I've got my booklet cover pieces. Okay, so next I'm going to be making the patterned paper pieces. So this actually, once I cut these pieces, I'm cutting them out of white daisy. I'm actually going to then design this with my stamp like I told you prior. So I don't have a full 12 by 12 here, so I'm just going to say what the cuts are. And then I'm using my scraps just to be more efficient here. So first you are going to cut 4 3.5 by 5.5 pieces. So I've got my 4 3.5 by 5.5 inch pieces, and then I have to cut 2 2.5 by 2.25 pieces. So I now have my 2 2.5 by 2.25 pieces. So these are my pattern paper, which I will show you how to make. So the stamp I have is the Paper Pal Pets. This is the stamp and thin cut. It does come with the thin cut. However, I'm just going to be using this stamp. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull off the little kitty. And I'm basically just going to be creating the paper like I said. So because I want to still stick with the Christmas theme, because I am making a Christmas card here, I'm going to actually stamp the animals in the candy apple red. So that's just to give it a little bit of flair. And now your 2.5 by 2.25 pieces are going to be seen, so make sure that you create those how you want them. And then I'm bringing my pupper in here too. Next I've got my little fishy in the bowl. And then I got my little hamster here. And this is just a little tennis ball to add into those tiny little spaces that you can get. And this is just a little ball of yarn. So now when I refer to the pattern paper, you will understand me more. So this is the pattern paper. And the last piece of paper I have to cut, I'm using the candy apple red. This is the two-tone candy apple red. And this is the border for the patterned paper. So I'm first going to make a cut at 3 3/4. Make that strip. And then I'm going to take this strip, turn it, and I'm going to cut 2 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 pieces. Then this little piece of scrap, and these two are good. Then I'm going to go back to this piece of paper and cut a 5 3/4 inch strip. And then with this, I'm going to take it, turn it, and cut 2 3 3/4 pieces off. So we now have a total of 4 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 pieces. Then with this piece that's just been flipped again, I'm actually going to rotate it back one more time and cut a 3-inch strip off. Take this 3-inch strip I cut, flip it, and turn it to cut a 4-inch strip. That's a scrap piece of paper. Put that there. And then this little piece, I have to get a 1 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch strip. So I'm going to first cut it by the 1 3/4 scrap paper, and then 3 3/4. So just like that. And then I have this extra strip that's been put to the side that is already cut at 2 1/2 inches. I'm going to cut 2 1/2 by 2 3/4 inch pieces. So I'm just going to cut 2 off here and then put this to the side for scrap. So I've now cut everything that I need for the T-card, and we are going to be switching out this blade for our scoring blade. So I have my booklet cover here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the 6 by 8 1/2 piece. The 8 1/2 is going the long ways. So what I'm going to first do is score it at 4 inches. Make a score line there. Then I'm going to take my paper, flip it, and score it at 4 inches again. And this is going to be creating the booklet cover. Then what I'm going to do is those 2 pocket pieces that we cut with the clover. Whoops, it's 2 of these, so this was actually an extra. So these 2 pocket pieces we are also going to score. So once I've got these pieces, what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to corner around the edges of them, because that way whatever you're putting in those pockets is actually going to slip in a lot easier. So I've got my 2 here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to score them. So first I'm going to take one, I'm going to flip it because I actually want the light side to be on the outside for this one. So I'm going to take it, and I'm first going to turn it long ways, and I'm going to score it at 2 1/2 inches. So there's my 2 1/2 inches. Then I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch on each side. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece. So then you've got to take your bone folder and fold down all those scored pieces. Perfect. We've got all of that together, and now comes the easy part. We are going to adhere everything together. So with all of your pieces that you've cut, these 4 pieces are going to be on top of the bordered pieces like this. Those are all going to be attached. Then you're going to take your 2 other small pattern pieces and glue them onto these pattern pieces like that. And then we are going to take these and glue them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liquid glass, and I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glass on the bottom edge of the pocket that I created. So just a small little dab on each side. Then you hold it. So this is the lower half of it. And you want to hold it because you want to make sure that that adheres to itself. If you end up having a little bit of extra, just kind of wipe it off with a tissue or something like that, your finger, anything like that, until you can then let that go. Once you're able to let that go, you are then going to put, once again, a small bit right on top of that bottom part, and we are going to flip it upwards. This is going to be creating your pocket. That way, you haven't glued the pocket, so you can actually slip things inside and out, like a business card or something like that, a gift card, anything like that. But you see how easy that goes in and out, and there's no sticking there. So, got that, and you've got to do it twice, remember. Once you've got your 2 pockets, glue these to the outside. So when you glue these are going to be flush against the bottom and overcome the top slightly. So then what we're going to do next is we are going to glue down all of these outside pockets. So when you're going to have pattern paper, you're going to want to pick which one you like the best, because that's going to actually be your back pocket, because that one is going to be the one that is completely shown the whole entire time. So, or completely not covered. So I'm going to put this one on my back cover. Then I'm going to pick the front pattern that I want, and this one's basically going to be completely covered. So I'm going to pick something that I have a better border around, or if I have a 3x4 on the front of it like this, what's going to show off most of my design. Then we flip to the inside. So this part gets a little bit more tricky, because now we're going to be adding in string. So when you have a string like this is the white and gold ribbon. So I'm going to cut 2 7-inch strips like I have done here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to adhere it with the liquid glass. So what I mean by that is we're going to line our card up on our Versa mat. And at the 3-inch mark, you're going to just put a little dab on each side and then stick your ribbon into it. This way, it is going to hold to your card super well. Once you've done that, you actually want to take the other 2 insides that you have, and we're going to just put a little bit of liquid glass, make sure you get that edges, and we're going to do it right away, put it on top of that, because that way, if you're getting it while it's still wet, the glue is then going to adhere to this piece of paper as well, and that's actually going to reinforce that ribbon staying on your card. Perfect. We now have the base of our card, everything is attached, and we're going to get moving on the next pieces. So with your liquid glass still out, decide which one you like best of the pocket, because it is going to slightly get covered, and we are going to adhere the pockets down. So I'm only doing 2 pockets, so I'm going to have them flush each with the top and the bottom. If you have 3, just kind of adjust it to make sure that you see where you are. The bottom pocket is the only pocket that is going to be completely shown, so make sure that that is the pattern paper that you like the most. So once again, I am using the liquid glass to adhere these down, just because it is a gift card, so these pockets are going to be a little bit more abused than the rest of the card. But that way you are making a nice spot, and it's going to be strong when somebody goes to rip out their cards. With these next 2 pieces that you've got, just adhere them together. So with this piece here, it's actually going to be creating a pocket on this side of your card. So you can sometimes either put a stamp or something on that, but what we want to do is we want to also take our liquid glass and only put it on 3 sides of this pocket card. So a really thin strip, just so it adheres to the card. But once you've got that thin strip, we're going to place it over this side pocket, the left side pocket, and just hold that down, because what's going to happen is with that 3x4 card that you cut out, we're going to actually round the corners and slip this in, and it is going to be a little pull-out card, so you can write a note to your friend. So my corners are now rounded, and I'm going to be able to slip that into the pocket. So now that I've got the inside of my card done, I'm going to flip to the front, and we are going to finish this part of the card. So what I have done to finish off my front piece is I have cut a 3x4 out of the white daisy, and I'm going to take my 2x2 block here. And I have a Merry Christmas stamp. So this one is one of our older stamps. Unfortunately, we don't sell them anymore, but any Merry Christmas stamp will do. I'm just going to go to the top of this card here. Merry Christmas. That's great. Good to go. Clean this, and with my intense black ink, I'm going to pick up the kitten and the puppy, and I'm going to put them onto my card, and then I'm going to color them in. So I did also just want to show you, actually, before I colored it in, that it doesn't even need to be colored in. You can add it right onto your card like that. It will look really cute if you color it in. You can also ink the edges in whatever color you want as well. So I can't seem to find my Clover ink right now, but I can also do the evergreen because it is a darker green, and you can either do it with a dauber, or sometimes I like to just do it on the ink pad because it gives it a really nice look, is just ink the edges. That way when you actually put it on your card, it gives it a little bit of a pop. And even if you want to, you can add a few gems to it or something like that to give it even more bling. So I can add like a little gem to the doggy right there, anything like that. Or what's even better is you can use a shimmer brush just to give it a little bit of sparkle as well. So have fun with it, and there you've got your card. And that's Technique Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. And Merry Christmas Eve to everybody out there. We are so glad that you are on this journey with us, and we will see you next Tuesday. So, bye! Merry Christmas! Santa gave me my wish. It's snowing.